Hello and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And tonight's sponsor, we have Strong Foundations Coaching and Consulting. Jen has over 25 years of leading, mentoring, training, and coaching people to live their best personalized life. So definitely, whether it be individuals or businesses, please get a hold of her today. Book your free 30-minute consultation. As well, she has her book out, Created No Way Out. It is a story based by a woman named Faith, who is on the verge of ending her life following decades of feeling unheard, unseen, and suffering from anxiety. Looking back on her life as she moves through her final days, she recognizes how much pressure she put on herself at, at all times and lost sight of her self worth and confidence. Get your copy of Created today on Amazon, as well as we are proud sponsors of Camaraderie Rescue Mission. Right now, they have a Summer of Fun raffle going on. You can get your chance to win a 6-month Freedom Boat Club membership. The main prize is in Winter Haven, Florida, but you can also they have 350 locations outside of the Winter Haven area. Again, a value of over $7,500. Your ticket is only $100, and you do get a t-shirt. But most importantly, you are supporting veterans. And with 28 veterans dying by suicide, we need your help. So go to www.tcrmi.org/shop to get your ticket today. With that, we are going to bring the amazing and lovely Molly to the show. Welcome, Molly. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am amazing. We were just speaking in the green room here. We both have short weeks this week. It's action packed and filled, and that's great. So tell our viewing audience here exactly who you are, what it is that you do, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, my name is Molly Trotter Gomez. I live in Southern California, sunny Southern California. I absolutely love it down here. The rest of the world might think we need to fall off into the ocean already, but I like to say that God's not done with us yet here. There's a lot of revival that is brewing here in Southern California. And what I get to do is I'm a co-founder of an amazing company called Girl Power Alliance, where we provide premier resources, Christ-centered resources for women to grow personally and professionally with a financial opportunity attached. So what that means is women can come into our community and learn from women that, first of all, love the Lord, but then also are experts in a variety of areas. So you're learning from people with a good fruit. And with this leverage platform, women actually come in here. They love what they're becoming. They love what God is doing through them, and they share this platform and they're able to create a passive residual income. So we just love being able to see the breakthroughs that women are having spiritually, financially, personally, professionally, and just have God at the center of everything that we do. So I am honored, I am humbled that I get to do that every single day and help women around the world achieve that.
I love every part of that. Absolutely love it. And we actually had your other co-founder Michelle on the show a while back as well, so that's amazing. Girl Power Alliance, if you don't know anything about them, then definitely drop a message in the comments and we'll get you that information. It is a powerful group of women that are there. I've been on a couple of their meetings and things like that, and definitely in their Facebook group. So definitely want to connect with Molly today if you're not a part of that. It is an amazing group of ladies. So I just looking at your bio here, a former television news anchor. Okay, come on. That's kind of like my dream life here. Tell us what it was to be like an anchor, a news
Well,
anchor.
I always bring it back with people. I got into that to share people's stories, to really kind of be a voice for the voiceless, because there's so many of us. Obviously, most of us have a voice. We can physically talk, right? Most of us can, but not everybody knows how to use it. And I think, especially for women, the enemy has had an assault on our voices, saying we're not worthy, we're not credible enough, all the above, don't have the authority to use it. And I like to say, no, that is absolutely wrong. But being in the news, it was exhilarating. It was an adrenaline rush. I mean, gosh, I would have to show up on scenes. I first was a reporter in the field, then got to the anchor desk. And I just saw a lot of tragedies. I'm not going to lie. It gets your blood pumping. You don't really think about it. You just got to share it. And so it had its moments, an adrenaline rush. There's great things, but there's also a lot of things that were very dehumanizing. And when you go home at the end of the day, people are like, hey, how's your day? And I'm like, you don't really want to know the answer to that question. How was your day? Because I'm not trying to depress people. But somebody had to do it. And so I know that being in that sphere of being on the news for over 5 years, that God really just brought me in there to refine my skills and gifts as a communicator, to really be able to, when there's breaking news and I have to go on, arrive the scene 5 minutes before I have to be on air and I have 30 seconds to share the most pertinent information. You got to really categorize what's important. And so I love actually being able to help women do that. I had a consulting business for a number of years of helping women just gain confidence on camera and really be able to refine their messages so it can breed that clarity of what they do and that confidence out to everybody that they're speaking to. Because I think that's really important. A lot of people talk a lot, but what's the most important information to get that out there to show people this is who I am and let them make the decision if they want to connect with you or not?
I love that. I actually had a coach at one time that said, if you're sharing your story and there's a lot of so what's in there, then you're sharing way too much. And I try and remember that when I'm writing posts or when I'm writing for content or like in the book that I've written and things like that. It's like, you really got to be careful, because if people say so what to it, like, then you've already lost them.
Yeah, that's good. It's just, I truly believe, especially for women specifically, since that's the area that I'm in, is really serving women. Women have actually have a sticky note here to do a Facebook Live on it. I'm not going to lie. Women have a desperation to be seen. And why I say that is that when women get to talking, I mean, they'll go on and on and on and on and on, because maybe they don't have anybody to share anything with. Maybe no one's really asked them, how are you doing? What's your vision? What's your goal? Like, you might be the first person ever to really actually get to know them intentionally. And everybody, man or woman, really want three things: to be seen, heard, and appreciated. Those are free, but hard to give. But that desperation of wanting to be seen kind of comes out as, excuse the phrase, but verbal vomit on people. And you're just like, wait, I don't really know how to connect with this. So helping people just really be clear and have that ultimate clarity, which then breeds that confidence in yourself and out to other people, is so important.
Absolutely. I love that. Seen, heard, and appreciated. And I don't know about you, but in those moments when you don't feel appreciated, you're like, why am I doing this? I
Yes.
totally get it. I totally get it. So what three things would you say that you've had to overcome to get to where you're at right now?
Gosh, I mean, I had to get over my own insecurities of, are people actually going to listen to me? Are people going to listen to what I have to say? Why me? I always ask that, why me? But then the back, like voice in my head, which is the Holy Spirit, why not you? Why not you? And that was the Holy Spirit fighting for my possibilities while I was fighting for my own limitations. But the enemy wants to be like, no, no one's going to listen. So I had to fight my own insecurities. Secondly, I was the first in my family to jump into entrepreneurship. So they're all like, what the heck are you doing? So for the longest time, they knew absolutely really nothing about what it is I got into when I first dabbled into the network marketing industry, and then consulting and digital marketing. And now, being a co-founder of a global organization around the world. It was only recently that they really were like, you know what? Like, they actually apologized. And we had a really deep, heartfelt conversation of, like, I'm sorry for putting those limitations on you if we did. And I just felt these chains break off, because I knew they were coming out of love, but they just didn't know, they didn't know better, because if you know better, you're going to do better. So that entrepreneurship journey first out that was a tough one. And then I would say the last one is really being able to press into God's presence fully, and really being able to not just seek, okay, this is what God can give me, but really being at his feet and pressing into his presence. And who is our creator? Like, first and foremost, and really being able to sit in that, like, magnificent, like, brilliance of, like, wow, like, this is who we get to serve. That is something I feel like a lot of people have yet to do. And maybe you're watching this, maybe you have, maybe you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But for me, my faith is a big part of everything that I do. That's how the foundation we built our company on, our global company. And right. When you really understand that and you take that in for you, not for anybody else, that changes absolutely everything. And that has been probably one of the biggest blessings, is really personally choosing, I'm going to dive into this, not for my game, but to see, okay, who is my creator? And that has been amazing.
Right. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. And so, what do you help your clients overcome at Girl Power Alliance?
That is a great question. So a lot of these women are typically either they have a business, they want to create one, maybe they're scaling one, but they want to be able to have resources that they can align with. Meaning, I've always been asked, Molly, like, okay, I'm in this mastermind, or I'm in this course, or I'm learning from this person, but there's just no faith component. Like, I feel like there's just like this misalignment. And so having a place where the faith is the foundation, having God at the center of everything, that is a place where we can have resources where women who are the experts in the community, because it's a collaboration of women who are experts in a variety of areas, and they're all around the world, but they love the Lord first. So learning from people with good fruit, first and foremost. So you get that good support, whether you have a network marketing business and you maybe don't have an upline that can support you. This is a good place for that. You have a coaching business, you want to refine your skills, be in a like-minded community of women who aren't in competition with you, want to pray for you. This is a community for you. And then for those that are feeling the heat of inflation and the recession around the corner, that are looking to put some extra cash in their pocket, this is a platform that is, very leveraged and pretty passive. So you're able to share that and create that passive income. So those are the things that we get to help our community, our women with. And we just feel really blessed to do it, because when women come to us and say, one of three things, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this my whole life. Or, you know what, I've been, praying and God's shown me that I need to create something like this. Or the third one is, I never even knew I needed this until somebody shared it with me, are all huge indications and blessings that God has his hand on this business, and we get to make that global impact with him.
Right. Absolutely love it. So if you're definitely looking for a community of like-minded, Christ-centered, definitely this is the place to be for sure. And you ladies are powerful, like absolutely powerful. And you guys are like growing like crazy, because I remember when I first started talking with Michelle and you, it was like, well, we're going to try and do this, but then no, it's like it's exploded, and you've had to actually put some things off so that, because everything just exploded at once for you ladies. It's been incredible to watch you watch everything unfold and be part of it. I'm a small part of the community. I'll get to the larger part very soon here. But I'm just excited for what you ladies have. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what would you say to somebody who's on the fence of, joining Girl Power Alliance and really just isn't quite sure?
Yeah, I mean, I love to dig in and I love handling objections. That's my favorite, because I said this a little bit earlier. People will fight for their I love to fight for people's possibilities while they like to fight for their limitations. And our brain wants to try to protect us, right? Well, we have to make decisions and we have to take those leaps forward. But a lot of us want to wait for that perfect moment, that perfect person, or, enough money, or the perfect situation. Nothing perfect is ever going to come by. You have to take that leap and just trust that you're going to figure it out along the way. And I also like to tell people, you just got to like rip off the Band-Aid. It stings at first at times, but you just have to do it. So, like when I tell people when they're on the fence, I look at them and I say, you know what? First of all, I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, is there anything you want me to share with them? Is there a message for them? I'll start there. And, after that, I like to say, you've been searching for something for a long time, and there's a reason why you're here. Like, this is a divine appointment. And do you want to keep pushing off that next leap forward, that next level in your life, because it's not the perfect time, and kind of let them answer that question? Because again, they're trying to tell me why they can't. I'm trying to tell them why they can. And I'm not in it for the sale. I'm in it for their soul and their spirit and the growth that I see on the other end from all these other ladies that took that same leap, scared and like, I'm not sure what's going to come. And the richness that they've been able to see just in their marriages, in their relationships, in their health, their finances, and of course in their business, because they took that leap. And so I love being able to really kind of sit with people and talk them through it, because again, you might be the only one who's ever done that for them. And I'm in the people business, in a world of where automation is king. There's a time and place for that, but you cannot automate relationships and really feeling that connection with people. And that's something that I absolutely love to do. So I was quite literally born for this moment, for such a time as this, an Esther season, right? But
Right.
it's really about that conversation as to why do you keep telling yourself you can't? And how many times do you do that to yourself, that you self-sabotage something that you've prayed for? And then when people sit into that, whether this is for them or not, it really gets them to kind of take a hard look at, how they're actually self-defeating rather than self-empowering.
Right. I love that. You're right. We get to such a point in life, we ask for it, we get it, and then we self-sabotage it. And I've seen that with myself in a lot of different areas. And you know, once I'm aware of it, then I can back off. But
Mhm.
those self-sabotage moments, I'm sure you've had lots of them yourself at one point before you got to where you're at. And that can, especially on women, because some of us don't feel worthy of of it, and then so you tell that voice inside your head, well, this didn't happen because. And uh, so any tips on how we get past that small voice inside of our head?
That's so good. And this is actually part of, a book that God had me write. It was some time ago. I actually wrote a book in a weekend, and he's like, "You're not releasing it yet, but I need you to get it out." And I really want to share this part of the book that is so important. I don't know if anybody's ever heard this before, but when you go back to Genesis in scripture and you see who the devil attacked first, he attacked Eve. And why do you think that is? Now, we can make up all these different types of stories, but I truly believe he knew the power of what Eve had. And when Eve went to Adam saying, "Hey, I don't know, let's take a bite of this fruit." And then the fall of humanity came. Of course, men want to blame Eve. It's all your fault. But
Yeah.
the enemy came to Eve first because he knew the power that women possessed. That he knows when we're lovers, we're nurturers, we're empaths. The world needs more of that right now. The enemy has done such he's paid a lot of attention and he's done a lot of work to get us suppressed, but a lot of women are breaking out of that, being like, "No more, I am over this. Like, why does this have to be my fate?" It doesn't, only if you allow it. So when it comes to the self-sabotaging moments, Dorothy, you hit it right on the head. I've had many, many, many of those where I feel like, how many times, God's had to humble me and cut me at the knees. I should have prosthetic legs at this point because I've had to be humbled so many times
I hear
because of
you.
my out of my own selfish pride, ambitions, different things. I used to have a lot of pride and ego. And that is not something I like to say, but it's the truth. And so that self sabotage, I would say it doesn't truly ever end. But when you become aware of it, just like you said, then you're able to manage it. You're able to be like, "Nope, I see where this thought pattern is going." And we actually have an academy inside of Girl Power Alliance called the Radiant Leadership Academy, which is our 16-week biblical leadership certification course. And inside of one of the weeks in there, Michelle talks about the second thought theory. So the first thought pops up, run it through your mind. Is this you? Is this the enemy, or is it God? And some people will even ask, "Well, I don't know if it's God or not. Does it align with the fruits of the Spirit? If not, then go to that second thought. Okay, the first thought, nope, throw it out. What should you be thinking? What should you be doing? And, have that align with the fruits of the Spirit." And that's really where I would direct people. And that's where it's bringing you back into the word. It's bringing you back into God's presence of like, okay, I want to do better. Just like I said earlier, if you know better, you're going to do better. You're not going to be like, okay, you're driving, right? And a red light means what? Stop. Green light means go. You're not going to automatically be like, "Oh, red light means go. We're going to go." No, because then you're going to cause a whole bunch of accidents. When you know better, you're going to do better. So that's actually, it's more than half the battle right there. It's just being aware so then you can shift things when things get a little bit out of alignment.
Right. I like the yellow light. I like to go with caution.
That is good too. Sometimes you got to be like, "You know what? Approach it with caution, be careful." So I totally get that. That's why they have a yellow one too. 3 options for you.
But that's how I ended up in my car accident just before Christmas. I
Well, then
went.
maybe you don't know yellow
I
light for
I
you.
I stopped. It was a yellow light, and I actually stopped for it, and I never do. But I was like, there was such a lineup, so I'm going to be stuck on the other side or this side. So I stopped, and she didn't behind me and plowed right into me.
Well, that's her fault. She wasn't paying attention. You were being
Right.
cautious and she was being pushy.
Oh, now there we go. There's an idea.
There's an idea. Who knows? I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't get charged. It was her fault, but still, I just all these things that I'm thinking of as you're sharing, and that's in life, like you said, there's the red, there's the green, and for us cautious people, there's the caution, or sometimes go through it. And I love that analogy because it's just really, if we allow ourselves to be pushed past our limit and allow ourselves to get out of our comfort zone. And for me, just speaking personally, the last month and a half, I've been like really pushing outside of my comfort zone more and more and more. And that's where really life begins. It can be
Mhm.
scary, but it's like that's really where everything begins. And getting rid of that sabotage moments and those, it goes back to what you first said. Women want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. And and it's sometimes putting ourselves out there is risky, but I also am in a place in my life where I played it small for so long that it's like you're out there and you're never coming back. So,
Yes, and you need to push outside your comfort zone because that's where your calling is. I tell people when it comes to take social media, for example, a lot of people don't get started because they're like, oh, no one's going to like it. Nobody cares. All these self sabotaging thoughts. But
yeah.
in that consistency, it's going to start picking up the people it needs to pick up along the way. I like to share this with people. Your story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else, first and foremost. You may not think so, but what you went through 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 days ago, there's going to be revelations in that when you take the time to think of, okay, what did I get out of this? How did I become a better person out of it? Right? Like
Right.
always look at it half full rather than half empty. So there's that piece right there. But when you're bold and you decide to share, think of it as like a hallway you just opened up. You just
Mhm.
opened up a hallway direct to you. And when you are bold and you share something, now God gets to place people in that hallway because I truly believe there are people assigned to us that we're supposed to serve in some capacity. Maybe it's sharing, the good news of Jesus for salvation. Maybe it's sharing your business idea. Maybe it's sharing, I don't know, a relationship revelation that you had from your mom or your significant other or a sister or something like that, right? You never know. But when you share those things, other people get revelations out of it. And that's what really makes the world go around in such a better way. Because otherwise, we end up feeling like, oh, we're alone. Nobody understands. They're never going to get me. Well, they're never going to get you if you don't decide to share. But somebody's always waiting for somebody else to go first. So
Yeah.
why not you? Like, who are you waiting for? You're waiting for yourself, really, at the end of the day, because you have everything inside of you to share. You know what that calling is, especially if you've taken time being like, okay, what is it that I love to do? What is it that, God's calling me to do? And you go for it, no matter if it looks crazy or not. Because at some point, somebody thought the whole idea of Amazon and Walmart were crazy. Somebody
Yeah.
thought Apple was crazy. Somebody thought like whatever it is that I got plenty of things on my desks. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that people thought were crazy, but now they're like multi-billion-dollar organizations, but they
Yeah.
didn't give up. I take Grant Cardone, for example. He had one person at one point say yes. And now look at what his organization turned into. But do you want to know
Exactly.
how many no's he got before he got any yeses? Probably way more you or I ever will. So you
Mhm.
have to go through those no's or go through those hard knocks or even the trolls online because they are there.
They
But keep
are.
pushing through that because that is where the beauty is going to come out on the other side. And that builds up that thick skin, that resilience that we all need.
Exactly. I always think like when I'm going, it's like, okay, so giving labor. I've never personally given labor birth to a human, but I've birthed tons of ideas and tons of dreams and tons well, the show being one of them, right? And so yeah, it's painful. And you go through those growing pains and you go through those like, why am I doing these moments? And then, you hear on I had listened to Rachel Hollis's podcast once where she said that, when she was building her empire, it was just like it took her 10 years to
Mm,
get to where people were finally recognizing her. Now you're going to live those 10 years anyways, so you may as well do something worthwhile, right? And getting
yes.
through. And I look at the number one podcast in all the world is Joe Rogan. And I attempted to listen to it once, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't listen to this. And I'm like, he gets paid billions of dollars a year, and he took him 7 years though to get to where he's at. It took him. He was in his very first podcast was in his, I believe, in his garage. I think is the story I had heard, or his garage or a spare bedroom. Anyways, doesn't matter. But it took him 7 years to get there. So, for people that are like in your just starting, or year one or year two or year three of your business, hold on. It may look like nothing now. And I always say to myself, well, this is a great overcoming story.
Yes.
If nothing else, this is how it started. And I say to my husband, I have this vision board up, and I say, we're in the middle of building a $60 million production company. I said, and it started in our spare bedroom. And I said, could you just imagine the story that we have, like the documentary that will be on us? And he just shakes his head and laughs. But I know it's done.
I love that. That's good. Well, my husband's a videographer, so when that's done, give us a call. He'll be able to shoot a beautiful promo video story for you. But that right there, it's that big faith. And I love that you shared that, because most people would be like, whoa, but you believe in that. And that's all that matters. It's like God gave that vision to you and nobody else. And it may sound crazy to other people, but they got other crazy visions that may sound crazy to you. So I love that you said that, because it's in those moments of like hard work, digging, seeding everything, you're going to have that plentiful harvest. And that's where everybody looks at, oh, wow, she's like an overnight success. No, you did not see the decades or the years or whatever of like the blood, sweat, and tears that I had to go through, the shameful comments and the people turning their backs on me and the broken relationships or the things that really hurt, that are going to test you along the way, because the enemy is going to try to throw sticks and stones and all the hurtful things at you to get you to stop, because he knows once you unlock that, you have the key. And once you find the door that fits the key, there's no going back, and he's going to try every which way. So I love that you said that, because that is such a huge testimony to how big your belief is in what it is that you're building. Hence why you've created this show to, give others a platform to share their big belief for theirs too, which I super appreciate, because it just shows your heart to serve.
Yes. Well, thank you. Yes. And you're right. Like, yeah, there's other shows out there, and yes, people may have like more ratings, or people have less ratings. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you're right. Everybody has a story, and I'm here helping people share their story and getting it out. And it's funny, because people say, well, why do you do it? Well, why not? And it's to help others get their name out there, their story out there. They're on different platforms, and and that's what it's all about. It's just the relationship building and the networking, and just really getting to know different people.
Yes. And it takes work. Networking takes work, but that is literally the backbone of any business. Doesn't matter what kind of business you are, corporate, 9 to 5, entrepreneur. I mean, networking is where it's all at. And that's where you have to put in the work. You have to develop relationships, or provide, have your own platform, or get on other people's just like this. But I definitely appreciate it, because what you're doing really helps people get their voice out there. And you never know, even if one person heard this and it changed their life, it's all worth it.
Exactly. Well, that's what I said. I say my goal is one a day, but then my business partner's like, no, we're out to create millions. So and right now, see, the best thing about social media and about being a digital and the digital age and all that, yes, it is July 6th, 2022, but perhaps somebody's going to watch this July 20th, 2030, and they see your story, they see your testimony, and they're like, man, they're going to listen to it, and their life is going to be transformed. So that's the power of what we're doing. So yes, whether we get one today or we get a million in 10 years, it doesn't really matter.
That's right. That's right. We're in it for the impact.
That's right. So Molly, any last words for our amazing guests that are out there? Where's the best place for them to find you? The best place to find you.
I would say the best place to be able to learn more is you can definitely go to girlpoweralliance.com. That's going to be the best place. And then you can always hit our, learn more button, or there's ways to get in contact with us, support at girlpoweralliance.com. Let me know that you heard us on the show. You can also find me on Facebook, Molly Trotter Gomez is what I'm now on Facebook, or Molly _Trotter on Instagram. Shoot me a message. Let me know that you guys heard this and we can definitely connect. But plenty of channels to connect on. I'm in the weeds of all of it. But Dorothy, thank you so much for having me on this show today. I think we said so many great things, and people are going to be able to walk away from this of just having some good revelations and feeling fulfilled that they can do it too, because truly your story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. And you get to walk in that and know that it does matter. In the grand scheme, it truly does matter.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And all of Molly's information is on the show notes, but definitely get a hold of Molly today. Get in touch with the girls at Girl Power Alliance, and I swear you will not regret it. It's a powerhouse women over there serving the Lord and serving you. So with that, have an unstoppable evening, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye for now.